Hello, everyone, and welcome to this live reading session with me, Hannah, your astrologer. So, I'm just gonna wait a couple of moments for people to join. We do have a couple of people booked in already, so that is always good to see. Happy Wednesday. It's Mercury Day. Mercury is still retrograde on this fine Mercury day, but of course, Mercury will turn direct on Monday. So, hey, this is the last Mercury day where Mercury is retrograde for a while. Let me see here. Okay, yes, I'm just going to wait. So, we're here with some live reading sessions this evening, this lovely Wednesday. And like I said, we do have a couple of people who are booked in. We have Claudia. Claudia, you are back. I hope you're doing good if you're there. And I will just kind of chill back a little bit and see whenever you might join. Of course, the thing about this too is even if you do decide to book during this particular live reading session and you need to leave or just do your own thing, the reading will be here for you. Hi, Claudia. Welcome back. I hope you're doing good. So let's dive right in. Let's discuss you. And good to see you. Yes. I am doing okay. I'm a little bit, I think, just mentally tired today. Maybe it's a Mercury retrograde thing, my 12th house. Been meditating today. It's helped a bit. But we get through it. We get through it. So let me just present your chart. Hello to Tara. Yes, so we do have more slots available for this particular live session, Tara. The instructions on how to book are down below. It's pretty simple. You basically just go to the link and then I'll need your details. And it's $25 per reading. These are mini readings as well. And also remember that if you would like a full reading with me, you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. One more thing I just want to mention is the Bali trip. The booking link for the Bali trip is live. It's live, so I've also added it below. I'm not really going to spend too much time talking about the Bali trip within this session, but I just wanted to let you know, and I think it's very exciting. So if you want to sign up for the Bali trip, like I said, the link is there, and we go May 2026. It's from the 20th of May until the 26th of May. Going to be pretty good, and I'll be hosting 3 workshops during that trip. Hello, Grace. Welcome to you. Yes, you are booked in. Good to see. Great. Right. So how this works, everyone, is whilst I am reading people's charts, I do not look at the chat. And so what I'll do is I will check in with you after. Nice. I am now going to look to Claudia's chart and give me a moment because I need to read your question and properly take it in. Take your question in. Professional social network for success, that it's authentic, communications, personal branding. Very interesting to see. Right. I am now looking at your chart, so give me a little bit of time so I can help you out with this. Well, this is interesting to see, I think, given your progressions. So if you look at the planets in green around the outer way, those are your progressions. Basically, what progressions mean is they show how your life changes, how you as a person, how you change over time. Of course, we change as people. To be fair, some people don't change, but anyway. So whenever we look to the secondary progressed Mercury, it's right up there and it's very close to the midheaven. And that to me does suggest this communications area, even sales, marketing, research, advertising. But there's a structure present with you, there is a process. So to me, when we consider success, this is about you laying the groundwork. This is about you looking to the very foundation of whatever it is you want to build, whatever you want to create. And it's also about recognizing that it's going to require a slow and steadiness. There's a slowness, a steadiness. Even we see that the secondary progressed sun is in Capricorn and it's in the 10th house. And what will happen over the next number of years is it will connect with your midheaven as well. Therefore, we could see this as a trajectory for you, right? There's this life trajectory where you're building, you're grinding, you're creating systems, you're working with systems, you're basically dedicating yourself to a particular profession, craft. Now, as for what that really represents, I am thinking because the fairy ruler of your midheaven, Saturn, Saturn has recently came into Aries, so has Neptune. But this is quite important for you on more of a personal identity level because you do have an Aries rising. Sure, it's a bit later on there with the later degrees, but I do still see this as over the next few years, you may be coming to terms with, okay, well, what is your message, right? What is the thing that speaks to your creation and what you really want? This is so much about want, it's about desire. And hey, interestingly, it is about authenticity because that's Aries, right? Aries is about being authentic. Even to mix this in with how Saturn and Neptune over the next coming couple of years will really start to connect into this trine aspect to the sun in your chart in Sagittarius in the ninth. So, what's the ninth house? This is about broadcasting, it's about publishing, it's about promotion, spreading a message, sharing with the world, really. So, your sun in this regard is going to thrive. And basically, whenever you are broadcasting or publishing what your knowledge, your wisdom with the world, that's going to bring you a lot of joy. Plus, I'm also thinking because the secondary progressed Jupiter is right up there and it's quite close to your natal sun, this is further where we see maybe more of a positive mindset, maybe your ability to go beyond, to see opportunities, to seek out opportunities. But then equally, there is a bit of a square aspect happening, even a bit of a T-square aspect, this pattern happening because you've got Saturn in Pisces, you've got the moon in Virgo. On one hand, okay, sure, we could look at this as you maybe bringing form to whatever you want to share and publish. We could also look at this as you drawing from your intuitive gifts. We could also look at this as you maybe being quite analytical and thinking things through. But then again, there could also be this feeling of, oh my gosh, I'm not sure what I'm doing. Is this too much? Is this too little? Maybe what you'll kind of want to do as you do kind of move forward with a potential new project, there could be a part of you that wants to seek out some type of advice. And it's really about maybe helping you manage the everyday things or helping you with little tasks or reminding you that when it comes to certain tasks that they're probably not as massive as you think they are. Or this could be about delegating certain tasks and projects. So being able to seek people who are a bit more informed or they're professional within certain areas, and then you can kind of go, hey, you know what, I want to recruit you or I want to hire you for this. So there is that. Let me just look at your question again. I want to take it in again. Yeah, professional social work to ensure that it's successful. Okay, there's the other thing then, is the networking side of it. Yeah, we see the networking side of it, the team side of it, the team building, because the second progress midheaven is also in Aquarius. So that's really fascinating to see. So, for example, this could be about you reaching out to individuals within your communities, teams. I'm even wondering about what you do currently and who you know and what connections you already have. And then I'm also thinking about innovation. So, how you can innovate the space, how you can maybe shake things up, change, a few structures, a few foundations, so that you can maybe broaden your horizons more, or so that you can bring more knowledge to a variety of people, right? There's that diversity when we think about Aquarius. And oh, here's another thing which is interesting. So, to me, of course, what this is indicating is that this is the beginning of a process for you, especially because Saturn will retrograde back into Pisces and then will go back into Aries February time. So, new beginnings, new chapters, take a good portion of the year really to redefine maybe what success means to you, what you want. Maybe think about a business plan, maybe think about your long term goals, think about your dreams, your visions, and how realistic and practical they are, but then equally try and not to limit yourself too much. Try not limit yourself too much at the same time. So what I was trying to get at there is, because this is looking like more of the beginning of a new chapter for you, we see, interestingly, that the secondary regress moon, this is so fascinating, it is making a bit of a trine there to the secondary regress midheaven. What's coming through is connections, partnerships, contracts, agreements. What's coming through here is help, assistance. And what will occur over the next coming months is the secondary progress moon will travel through your 8th house. All of that Scorpio is going to be activated like boom, boom, boom. So, what this can really suggest is that you're going to be looking into things like loans, paying off debts, what you need to do to be successful. You're going to be even looking at the nitty gritty, the things, the financial stuff that maybe are quite challenging and heavy and a bit of an ache, but you will prove yourself. I think there will be that resilience. Yeah, especially because that secondary progress moon, it will join up with the North Node over the next, I would say, couple of years. So to me, it really suggests that you're in for this alignment. And what I mean by this is you're kind of going to be tuning your emotional needs, your emotional wellness with your purpose, with this North Node vision. Even the North Node being in Scorpio, that is massive for leadership. I would argue it's massive for you really showing up and being this resilient individual, someone who can work well under pressure, someone who is able to really come to terms with what your own limits are or what your unconscious drives and habits are. So there is a transformative process here, and a lot of this is about study. It's about information, understanding, the research you're going to do, all of the digging into so many sources. Mercury's conjunct Jupiter there, my word. Oh, yeah. So this all really makes a lot of sense to me in terms of your life trajectory, Claudia. Yeah, that's your mini reading. I hope that was okay. I hope that was good. Thank you so much, Claudia. Oh, nice, nice, nice. So you are connecting with the information. Love to see it. Yes. Oh, brilliant. It sounds pretty exciting, this new adventure of yours. Yeah. And hey, your Sagittarius self, my word. I love Sagittarius energy, especially with the sun in Sagittarius. It's just like you give off such a big presence. And to me, like, Sagittarians are really good at making other people around them feel happy. Cheerleaders, big cheerleaders for other people. Thank you so much, Claudia. All right. We're now going to move on and we're going to explore Grace's chart. So if you please give me a moment so I can assess Grace's chart. Do I recognize you, Grace? Have you booked before? I feel like you've booked before. If you have, welcome back. Let's see. Let me see. Oh, right. Okay. Information. Yes, that's correct. That's correct. Okay, great. Yes. Quick reminder, everyone, if you would like to book for this particular session, the instructions are down below. Okay. Grace, hi. And you say that you have. Okay. I thought so. And Tara, amazing. You got booking. Brilliant. Thank you so much. You will be next then. So we've got Grace, who is now, and then Tara, you will be after. Okay. Here is your chart on display, Grace. And now I am going to read your question. Give me a minute because I really need to take it in and process it. Oh, Grace, I'm sorry to hear that you're going through such a hard time with your family. Okay. Do you have, is it the one child? Or do you have multiple children? There's a reason why, by the way, why I'm asking this question, Grace. One. Okay. Thank you for confirming that. Okay. Well, let's discuss and to confirm, everyone, I do not look at the chat whilst I am reading the chart. So I will check back in a moment. Thank you. And for this particular reading, Grace, I'm going to be very sensitive, of course, to your situation. All right. The fifth house in astrology can often point towards the first child, so the firstborn child. And you've got the North Node and Chiron there in Gemini. So there is something about a repair here. There's something about the effort required, especially via communication, to repair that relationship. But we also see a potential, a pain, a wound, something that's triggering, something that's quite sensitive, especially when we consider communication. Maybe the breakdown of communication, the lack of communication, misunderstandings present too. Then what we further see is Uranus. So Uranus is opposing the Sun and Venus. So that opposition to me does point toward these disruptions, right? It's the disruptions to do with love, disruptions to do with relationships, the kind of breakup stuff, separation stuff, divorce stuff. So it's safe to say that, this stuff is quite complex, and it can also suggest that a lot of this, it really plays on your mind, because I think about, with you being a Gemini and your Venus even in Gemini, I think that you are someone who wants everyone to get along, and that is a big focus of yours. It's a big priority of yours. But whenever there's that lack of connection, there's a disconnect, that can be when you can spiral, you can overthink, you can stress, you can worry. And then I'm also seeing here that you've got the ascendant in Aquarius. So there is a kind of togetherness quality to you. This, come on, let's just try and get along. Let's just try and come together for the sake of the group. And I also see this as you being seen, being known as someone who is quite friendly, and you're willing to help out anybody in need. Okay. So basically, what I'm trying to get at is you're quite a social person. And I don't mean that in a way where you can literally talk to anybody. I do think there are sides to you, there are elements to you that would rather not just speak to anyone, but you still do require that social element, especially with your daughter, right? Because we bring this back to the fifth house. And like I said, the fifth house can be an area where it shows the firstborn child and the relationship with the firstborn child. So there is the love there, right? Of course, with Venus, there is the connection and the seeking to communicate. But there's also this process here to do with Chiron and the North Node, right? A process to do with any communication challenges. Now, let me just take a moment, because I wanna explore this question a bit more. I'm reading it into myself. I'm not going to read it out loud. Father. Okay. Okay. So you do have the moon as well in Cancer in the sixth house. Yep, the moon's in Cancer in the sixth house. So what we also see with you is a big part of your own relationship with your own mother is, to be a caregiver, is to be a supportive figure. But then equally, it's this kind of, I suppose, this kind of theme that plays out even within your relationships, where perhaps you're the one who wants to care for other people for their needs. Now, having said that, there is that opposition to Neptune. And so there can be themes here to do with maybe the sick stuff, the pearly stuff, the lack of maybe having certain boundaries and limits, and maybe because of that, there is a lot of sacrifices. There are a lot of sacrifices that are made. And so you're probably thinking to yourself, oh my goodness, I do so much for other people. I'm always so helpful. I'm always so supportive. What else can I do? And I can empathize with this particular frustration in this way. Now, as for more of the court stuff, we do have some interesting alignments coming up. Let me grab transits. I want to make sure here. I need to make sure. Basically, what I was trying to do there was I was trying to kind of ground the energy and show you how this stuff really manifests within your chart. But when we look to the transits and we think about events and what's coming up, we see that Mars has actually recently entered Libra. Now, the thing about that is Mars comes into the ninth house. What is the ninth house? It is the house of legal proceedings. What will happen over the next coming weeks, couple of months even, is yes, eventually Mars will apply to this Pluto part of your chart in Libra in the ninth house. And so that can be pretty much a massive indicator of some kind of revelation, some new discovery, some answers too, especially because Mars rules your third house of communication. But even before that, before we get to that, basically, we also have this opposition to Saturn retrograde, Neptune retrograde over the next couple of weeks. Well, this is where we do see the communication battles. We see the confrontations, we see the conflicts. Now, with that being said, we also notice that Mercury retrograde, so Mercury will turn direct on the 11th of August and then will move out of the post shadow period by about the 25th of August, something like that. And then that can be really when things start to clear. But you've been pretty much experiencing this whole process to do with documents, letters, important information, especially when we consider the relationship side of things. Okay, you were talking about the father influence, you're, someone who you have basically, you've raised a child with, and so we do see the clashes in agreement with that seventh house activation, Mercury retrograde. So what I'm trying to get at here for you, Grace, is that more information is going to start to come out and things will be a lot more clear. But I think especially even as Mars starts to create more of this trine aspect over the next coming weeks to all of your Gemini, that can be where perhaps there will be some type of, could be a resolve with your daughter. It could be a conversation. It could be something that you just need to feel like, okay, this is confirmed. This could require some type of a self-assertion on your part, or you being more passive, actually, because it's Libra, you being a bit more passive and allowing your daughter to come to you to an extent. But all in all, I really think that you could very well be surprised by whatever new information, by whatever new discussion arises over the next coming weeks with your daughter, particularly because of the trine aspect to that fifth house. There will also be that sextile aspect to the Uranus part of it as well. Now, with that being said, at the same time, we're going to see more of the square aspect to Capricorn and Cancer. So we do see the blockages, we see the pressures, the expectations, you being like, but I give so much, I do so much, I don't understand this. Why am I being punished for this? Why am I being blamed for this? It's a rocky time the way it looks. But what I'm trying to get at here is that the storm will calm and people will be able to come forward and to communicate and say what they need to say. And maybe what will be sort of important for you to do is to just kind of go, look, there's nothing I know I've done all I can. And so it's important to be able to allow for new information to come forward and then to go from there. I'm just picking up basically the last thing I'm trying to say here, Grace. I'm just picking up on the immensity of the pressure and the stress and the worry and the what ifs. It's like, what if, what if, what if, even though you can't see the way forward, you're trying to sort of predict constantly about, well, what if this happens and what if this happens? But actually, maybe a part of this is it's trying to say that more information will come, and it's about acting in accordance with whatever information comes out, especially because of that Mars opposition to Neptune. Try and not, try and not jump to conclusions or make up assumptions about things, and more so go based on facts. And then try your best to kind of be level and rational and make decisions from that place. Okay. Grace, I hope that was helpful, and thank you so much. Okay, let's see. Tara. Oh, Tara, is it your birthday today? I think, yeah, it's your birthday today. Or no, it's not. It's not. Sorry. I just saw, sorry, it's not your birthday. I saw that date and I thought, well, okay. I cannot see a thing. Oh my goodness, right. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah, we've got this. We've got this. So we have Tara who has booked in. Thank you, Tara. And then we have Edgar. Thank you very much, Edgar. Let me check all of your information. Do you have it all there successfully? We do. Perfect. Lovely. Thank you. Right. Let me grab your chart, Tara. Grace, thank you so much. And Tara, oh yes, no problem. uh, by the way, folks, I've got to say, so I'm using my partner's new chair and it's very chill. I feel so relaxed here. I could just fall asleep. It's so nice. Okay. Tara, let me read your question. Please give me a moment. Okay, no problem. Let's have a look. Let me explore your chart. Okay, Mercury retrograde. Interesting. Let me see when Mercury retrograde happens around that time. Let me have a look. Um, Mercury. Actually, what I could do is this. Hold on. Let's try it a different way. Um, Let's go with February. And when was that? Say the 15th. Let's have a look. Hold on. Right, yeah. Okay. 15. Let's go with March. Okay. So, as a reminder, I'm not going to be looking at the chat whilst I read your chart, Tara, but I will check in just a moment. Just a moment. So you want to know about progressions, and then you also want to know about the Mercury things. Right. Here is what I am going to say to you, and I'm going to try and be slow and calm as I share. What we see here is that the second day progress, Mars and Jupiter are both in Gemini. So you already have a Gemini rising. So Gemini on the rising, to me, suggests that you are a very eager learner. You are a student of life. And you may seek a variety of topics and subjects. You also embrace change, perhaps more so than other people. And what's coming through actually as I say this is it's that Mercury retrograde stuff that you brought up. You're asking about my theory here. I wonder, is it more so that you're able to embrace more of the change and the flexibility that's needed with the Mercury retrograde more than other people, more than most? And then because your chart ruler is in Aquarius, maybe there's something to be said about you being a bit more bigger picture focused, right? There can be this mindset, this mentality of, hey, it's all part of the process. Why would I worry about that? Why would I stress about that? Maybe even with you having your sun in Pisces, there can be this influence of, well, it was supposed to happen like that, right? Maybe you can often present as everything happens for a reason, or there must be a reason behind, this delay or this situation. It's really not that bad. You can even look at life maybe more positively than than a lot of people, because you do have Mercury in the ninth house. So that's what I'm sort of picking up on here. It's more of your optimism. And then I guess this goes back to Jupiter, right? Because like I said, Jupiter, the progressed Jupiter, is in Gemini too, and it's right on your ascendant. Oh my goodness. So this is where we see your bigger picture thinking. This is where we see your seeker influence, the seeking of knowledge. It's not just about gathering information, it's literally going out and seeking it and wanting to understand it and being inspired by it and wanting to share it. Even on that note, we also notice that you've got this cluster of planets in Aries, right? So you've got the secondary progress Mercury, Venus, and Sun in Aries in the 11th house. So to me, what this indicates is that you are currently going through this process, or you're at a stage in your life where you're really ambitious, you're a big go-getter. Maybe you're getting more involved within groups, or you want to learn more from other people. Equally, we do notice that there are those squares happening to the Capricorn influences in your 8th house. So what I'm trying to also suggest is that such matters have required effort on your part too. I see this as you exploring matters more so outside of your comfort zone over the years. And with that does come fear, right? With that does come this, oh my gosh, if I say that thing, what if? But then I'm also seeing this as you performing so much inner work over the years. And maybe this is even happening for you right now because the secondary progress moon is in Capricorn and it's really aligning with those Capricorn planets. So, on one hand, we can see the challenges to do with your emotional blockages or emotional challenges, like really, really deep. But then we also see your insight, how perceptive you are, your ability to address those fears, to address what is maybe suppressed or hidden, what's kept maybe private. I am, and I'm trying to be sensitive as I say this, I'm thinking about really those harder themes, maybe to do with father figures, father influences within your life. I'm also thinking about any limiting beliefs that you've had over the years. But again, this stuff is all being challenged by your pioneering spirit, maybe through community, through like minds, through friends, and pushing yourself, challenging yourself. With all of that, Aries, there is something to be said about up and stepping up to a challenge, particularly, and pushing past certain challenges, even this Mars, right? So we go back to the secondary progress Mars and Gemini, and here we see the active part of you. You're at the same time, as you're seeking, as you're searching, you're also really being very active and you're doing. There is so much passion here. There is so much determination here, leadership abilities, leadership skills, having this, I'm just going to go for this. And what is so interesting to me too is we go back to the Mercury question, right? What's interesting to me about this is how that secondary progress Mars would have really aligned with Mercury to create a trine. Let me look at the degrees. 6 degrees. Yeah, so it would have aligned over the past few years, and I suppose it is still making a trine to Mercury now. But what does that mean? Like, that means that you can have this mindset, this mentality of, I will get through this. I will overcome this. I'm just going to need to learn. I can adjust. I can adapt. And what's further really, really exciting is how Uranus has now entered Gemini. And that to me is, especially because it's so close to the secondary progress Jupiter, that to me suggests such major mindset breakthroughs, identity breakthroughs. If there is one sign in the zodiac that can embrace change the most, in my opinion, it is Gemini. So that is your superpower, that is your strength, because we are noticing the changing of times, the craziness out there, and how even technology is advancing and how things are moving so rapidly. But you are someone, I think, who has the ability to really go, hold on, what can I learn from this? instead of, being in this state of fear and oh my gosh, it's like, no, what can I learn though? And even your Aquarius placements point toward that innovation, point toward the future too. Maybe you often get these pings, you get these sort of cosmic downloads, these insights that just sort of drop out of nowhere, and you're like, how did where did I don't even remember learning that. Like, where did that come from? But that is your intuition, I think, in many ways. It's your intuition trying to remind you, nudge you, say, hey, you're on the right path. And what I'm further going to say, and this is the last sort of thing that I want to mention, is to do with how you do have this grand Earth trine in your chart. Whoa. So you've got Mars in Taurus, you've got Moon in Virgo, and you've got Saturn, sort of Neptune and Capricorn. In the more emotional houses, these houses of the soul. So what I'm getting from this is your ability to build from a place of emotion and depth, your ability to connect, for example, with your pain or with your pleasure, your ability to slow down, regulate your nervous system when you need to, your ability to remain calm within the storm, your ability to question the validity of information, and to also come up with a strategy, a plan, something that's more strategic and effective. And at the same time, you do have the North Node in Pisces, and the sun is up there. So you are going to experience your nodal return. So that's going to be coming up over the next number of months to a year. So I think that is going to maybe indicate, okay, some lessons to do with questioning, are you on the right path? And what I mean by this is sort of spiritually, maybe with your North Node journey, you're really learning how to come into your own when it comes to your ego, your sense of self, what it is that you want to maybe achieve within the world. But it's all through this spiritual, humble lens. It's through a lens of compassion and emotional connection and honesty and wanting to do the right thing by people, for people. Maybe also this speaks to your creativity in some ways. Yeah, your creative gifts as well. I could say more. I could say more, Tara, but this is a mini reading and I do have to stop at some point. But thank you. Thank you so much. I hope that was helpful for you. And now we are going to explore Edgar's chart. Thank you. Let me have a look at the chat. A moment. Hello, Irene. Welcome to you. Yeah, being mutable has perks. Certainly, certainly. Just let go and submit to the whims of the world. That's so, to me, that's so North Node in Pisces as well. And then your sun is in Pisces. Don't get me wrong, we do see the balancing act, right? Because with all of that mutable energy, it can feel like at times as if you're being pulled in so many different directions. It's like everybody wants this, that, and the other, and have to make a decision. And I'm overthinking and I'm worried, like, what if I make the wrong decision? And you can go back and forth with things. So yeah, that can be the challenging thing. But then I'm also thinking that this is where it's trying to learn to anchor yourself, and maybe Saturn in Pisces over the past number of years has helped you perhaps regulate, center, refocus. Remember, Tara, Saturn retrograde is going to move back into Pisces September time for the rest of the year, pretty much. So that will be your opportunity to maybe go back in and really ask yourself, right, okay, well, what have I learned in terms of my spiritual practices and my inner peace? What structures have I put in place, etc. Again, thank you, Tara. Right, Edgar, let's explore you. Let's see. Double checking your information, Edgar. Okay. Oh, hi, Danielle. Welcome. Nice. Well, I hope you have a great day at work. I hope you're doing good this fine Wednesday. And Edgar, I'm not sure if you are watching, I'm not sure if you're in the audience, but I do have a question for you. Yes, I have a question for you. If you're not in the audience, that is also okay, because the way this works is I will keep your reading up and then you can come back in and you can check. Do you also want to share that I have room for, I'd say, one or two more if anybody is interested to book with me for this particular session? Let me grab your chart, Edgar. Here we go. Yes, so my question to you is this a general reading you're looking for, or do you have a particular question you would like me to answer? Oh. General reading, no problem. Have you ever had your chart read before? Just curious. Okay, no problem. Right. So the way this works, everybody, a reminder, I will not be looking at the chat whilst I read Edgar's chart, and I will check in a moment. Please give me a second. Okay, let's move slowly through this and let me explain. First thing I want to say about your chart here, Edgar, is that pretty much all of your planets are located in one particular hemisphere. So what this indicates is that you're very relationship orientated. I do see this as you it could be that often you put other people first, or it's that you want to do right by people. You can focus a lot of your attention on others. Maybe there's also a lot to do with wanting to be liked by other people. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing, by the way. You know, there's an appreciation for getting along teamwork, and seeing that it is people within a certain group or a practice that can make it what it is. Okay. And we also see that with you having the ascendant in Gemini, that the way you sort of show up within the world is you show up as a curious person, you show up as a changeable person, as an adaptable person, as, okay, sure, someone who is open and willing to learn, but also someone who you may have so many different interests and it can be difficult to just focus on one. I even see this as your identity changing like the wind. Yeah. And you can be rather mysterious. I do find the Gemini archetype to be rather mysterious in this regard because it can feel a bit like you never know what you're going to get. But then this is also where we want to look deeper, right? Because we want to look to the chart ruler. The chart ruler is Mercury. This can tell us about your life trajectory. It can tell us about a really important area of focus for you. So Mercury is in Libra. And let me look here. I think Mercury is retrograde as well. Let me double check just my eyesight. I'm sorry. So Mercury is retrograde as well. So a deep thinker, certainly a deep thinker. And now that I further think about it, because Mercury is retrograde, I am wondering about the kinds of thoughts that you keep to yourself too, and the sort of funnel that you process your thoughts through, especially maybe because you think, well, I don't want to upset this person, or I need to be mindful of what I say. Or, it could be about, well, what is the kind of best thing to say within this situation so that there is greater pace or that there's this feeling of collaboration. Mercury also in the fifth house, well, this speaks to your creativity, really. Let's think about this. Let's think about your creative projects, your hobbies. Let's think about music. I'm going to music, instruments, songwriting. It could be the piano, honestly, playing the piano with the Libra influence. It could also be your interest in culture, ways of life, your interest in people and their characteristics and why they do the things they do. I mean, it could also be partly about beauty and art, right? So there is something really creative about you, and you can even come across as rather poised, as someone with great taste. I mean, great taste. You could get told by a lot of people how fashionable you are, how well dressed you are, how likable you are. But then, I'm thinking because the sun is conjunct Chiron, do you fully connect with that yourself? Is there a part of you that actually feels like possibly you're not good enough, that you're an imposter? What do they know, right? It's like, what do they know? They must be lying. They're not being truthful. Because I think there's a deeper layer here. There's something that's more psychological happening beneath the surface, to do with your own standards, maybe to do with your own expectations of yourself and how you should show up in the world, right? Because the moon is making a square to Chiron, it's making a square even to the sun. So even though it can appear like to other people you express as quite friendly, engaging, as collaborative, cooperative, as pleasant, underneath the surface, so there's this deeper layer of you that really wants to get it right, that really wants to be dedicated and to show your ambition and to be respected. My goodness. You want to be respected by other people. You don't want to just be seen by other people. You don't want your creativity, your art to just be seen by other people. You want to be respected for it, right? You want to be recognized for it. That recognition could be really important to you. And so this is where we really see the amount of hard work and dedication that goes into whatever you create. So I hope you can get here that there's something much deeper going on, and it's your emotional world that is all about success. Success. And Saturn is in the 10th house. So there is something that you're building that's really creative, that's perhaps very artistic, something about fantasy, something about storytelling here, possibly painting, film could be a part of this, working with different characters, playing different roles, maybe acting is a part of this, but whatever area it is, Saturn in Pisces wants you to dream. It wants you to dream and to follow the vision, to follow the fantasy, and to make it real. Like to make it real. Even Saturn is making that sextile to the Neptune and Uranus in the 8th house. So there's a psychological depth here where in which you can bring your psychological discoveries, maybe to do with suffering, maybe to do with sorrow and pain. It's like the heaviness of emotion, the heaviness of humanity, to bring those things into the public eye, to say, look at this, look at this sorrow, look at this weeping woman, this crying child, like this world is in pain. Can't you see? To me, it just states that whatever you create, it comes from something much deeper. And then maybe even that goes back to your own upbringing or your own struggles and the things that you've had to overcome throughout your life, right? To me, this suggests you living this success story, right? Kind of thinking, okay, building things from the ground up. And then even your Saturn return happens very recently. And so you're trying to process that. You're trying to process this period of confronting your fears, facing your dreams, considering what you want for your life, especially creatively. And Mars is making this trine to Saturn here. Saturn is retrograde too, by the way. So that Saturn retrograde influence could indicate that there's something internal about you that wants to be so successful, but often as well, it's through other people that stuff is mirrored back at you, it's reflected back at you, and that within itself is what pushes you to strive for better, pushes you to overcome. And then we go back to Mars. So Mars is in Scorpio, and this suggests your resilience. You've got both Mars and Pluto in the 6th house. We see the sheer determination, the will, but we also possibly see, and maybe if you resonate with this, you resonate with it. If you don't, just leave it. But we also see you possibly reaching moments of burnout, or you possibly having to be mindful of how much you're going or how much you're doing. You're going. And there's no stop. There's no stopping point. And this makes me think about the South Node in Aries. So the South Node is in Aries, and maybe what you're sort of comfortable with is being this doer, is being this go-getter, especially within the group. It's like, let's make this happen within the group, within the organization, the team, the project, whatever. I'm going to be the leader. I'm going to be the team player. But then North Node in Libra is maybe trying to call to you and say, hey, look at some healthy balance, right? Look at some ways that you can maybe create, and it doesn't always have to be for other people, and it's just for you and what you love and what brings you joy. I mean, Venus is in the 5th house. Venus finds her joy in the 5th house. So there's something really delightful and delicious about this, about communication, about art, about your writing. Even that energy is making a sextile to Jupiter. So there's this broadcasting influence, like sharing information with others and being very enthusiastic about it. So basically, all in all, what I'm trying to get at here is you possess so much passion, but it's about where you direct that passion, what you're directing it into, and how you can be a little bit more, hopefully, like strategic about it, thoughtful about it. And maybe that's even where Mercury retrograde is, well, it's sort of good in a way for you, because Mercury retrograde can perhaps suggest your ability to be more reflective. Then again, because it is Libra, you could experience times when you go back and forth, right? And that makes me think about, even because sure, Libra's about balance, but there's so much Libra, there's not a lot of Aries. So maybe part of the balance is about decision. It's about, okay, how can I make a decision here? Instead of constantly being in this state of, should I publish this? Should I not publish this? Will they like it? Will they not like it? I mean, who's going to see it? And it's like, slow it down and really think about, okay, well, what is speaking to your heart? What's speaking to your heart? What's speaking to your joy? Anyway, hey, Edgar, I wish I could go on, but I can't. I can't because it's a mini reading. So thank you so much. Thank you. And let me see if anybody else has booked for this session. I don't have anybody else at the moment. I can take a couple more people if you're interested. Hello to Manuela, thank you for joining. And if you would like to have your chart read, the instructions are down below. I also want to say, Edgar, thank you. And I hope that that reading served you well. I hope that it resonated. I hope you find it to be helpful. And I'll just wait. I will wait and see if anybody else books for this particular session. All good if not. Just gotta wait. Why are you doing this? Oh, there we go. Yay, I'm so glad. I'm so glad, Edgar. I hope it resonated with you as well. You and me, baby. So for anybody else who's maybe interested in booking, I can take one or two more people for this particular session. I do have the energy. I feel like I have the energy, but we will see who else joins. And then if not, that's fine. You know, that's nice too. Hello to Jeannie Alchemy. Welcome to you. Yes, I remember you. I think you have joined before. Welcome back. And Tara, not the Discovery Channel. Maria, welcome to you. Hi, thanks for joining. So the way that you book is down below. I have another slot available. Possibly I can do two more. We'll see. We'll see who joins. You're from Brazil. Nice. You know, I would love to go to Brazil. I would love to go. So many places. Oh. Oh. Oh dear. But we wait. We continue to wait. Maria, amazing. Well, thank you very much for your support, for being here. I hope that you have found the information to be helpful. Definitely within your own astrology studies, practice, whatever you do with astrology. It's amazing. I mean, astrology can be used for so many things. So many things. I was thinking this the other day that you could apply it to literally anything. Yep. I will give it another 5 minutes. 5 minutes, yeah. Whenever the clock gets to 1:15, and if nobody books by then, that will be this particular session, which is good for me because it means I can go have my tea, have a biscuit, chill for the rest of the day. But it's always good, it's always good to jump on and to do readings and to, of course, chat with you in the chat too. It's good to engage. There will be some full moon in Aquarius readings coming on Saturday. Yeah, I think that is what you voted for. That's what the majority voted for. So this Saturday, yeah. Yeah, Saturday is the day. It was a close call, though. It was a close call. We'll see who joins on Saturday. Oh, thank you very much, Maria. So you got a Sagittarius rising. Nice. I know so many Sagittarius risings. I meet so many. And you know what? I think I do vibe really well with Sagittarius risings. I've got Jupiter conjunct the ascendant. I feel like I laugh with them a lot, and I just feel like there's a lot of banter. Even my Aquarius placements, there's that sextile influence between Aquarius and Sagittarius. I really like Aquarius Sagittarius relationships. They're fun. Yeah, Sagittarius energy is so fun to me. Very adventurous. Yeah, I kind of see it as Sagittarian saying to me, "Hey, I've got this idea, Hannah. We should do it." I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it." Even my moon's in Aries, so I'll most likely jump in. Though my Virgo rising can still freak out a bit. I do have to wait for a second and kind of ask, "Oh, will this get me into trouble?" Uh, but no, Maria, thank you. Really, really kind of you. One more minute. Yeah, one more minute, and then what I'll do is I'll make sure to edit the title before. Okay, well, before I go, there is something I would like to say, a reminder that the Bali trip is now live. So if you're interested in coming to Bali May 2026, the link is down below to make it happen. And what else? Is there anything else that I want to share? Anything else? Any updates? No. The only thing I guess is if you have enjoyed this live reading session with myself today, you can always book a full session with me by going to my website, hannahselsewhere.com. and you can book a full reading with me over there. Maria, you said that your sun is in Libra. Okay. Okay, interesting. Anyway, I am going to get going, everybody. It has been a pleasure. It's always great reading charts and helping you see the connections and the patterns in your charts. Every chart is so unique, which is beautiful and fascinating, and that's why I love astrology so much. Anyway, folks, I am going to get going. I hope you have a great Wednesday, and thank goodness it's the last Mercury day, with Mercury being retrograde for a while. Yeah, my 12th house. The 12th house stuff is real, okay? Anyway, I'm going to get going. Thank you, everyone, again, and I will talk to you very